Miss Lana from Noble Root Herbs, and welcome back to my channel. So I wanted to talk about quickly, or not quickly, it kind of popped in my head. I am feeling a little hyper right now. I do have ups and downs, and that's just how I'm wired, and that's who I am. So anyways, being spiritually self-conscious. And this kind of popped in my head when I was talking with my mom earlier, and then I had a Zoom meeting with some really amazing women that we meet once a week on Zoom and talk. But it was before that I was thinking about being spiritually self-conscious, and it's just like anything. Like, you're self-conscious of your weight or your clothes or where you grew up or maybe your finances or whatever. But being spiritually self-conscious is very similar, because there's times where some people might feel inferior to the people that they're in the presence of or who they're talking to. And I've had to learn and grow from that in my past of being self-conscious, because I've been on both ends, either knowing a lot of information but seeming like I didn't know enough, or not knowing enough but not wanting to seem like I didn't know anything. And it was a really good lesson for me. There was a lot of times where, because, I'm not trying to I've never tried to spiritually flex on somebody and like brag about how much I know, because I was getting into metaphysical studies and in these types of things, reading up on it and getting books from the college library near where I lived, and buying books from like Walden Books. I don't even think they're even in business anymore. It's a long time ago. It was like fifth grade, sixth grade, and then going to my metaphysical shops at that time. And I had friends that were just a few years older than me, so that makes sense. And, I'm 36 years old. I've lived quite a lot of life since then. People forget that, I guess. It's fine. It's just people problems. But yes, so it's like, I'm not trying to seem like I know more than somebody by any means. It's just, that's the truth. And if somebody asks me the truth, I'm going to tell them. And to be honest with you, just because I read a bunch of books on the subject and I researched stuff and I took some workshops or classes, I was like 12, between the ages 11 to 12. I'm 36 now. I don't remember every single book verbatim. And there's times where I only remember books by their cover and not even the person who wrote it. I'm a very visual person. So there's times where I forget the names of the actual authors. So it's just how it is, And then anyways, so I've ran into instances where people would, I'm not trying to act like I'm an ascended master or something, but it made me feel self-conscious to open my mouth, because I had so many interactions that were like that. And I had a lot of interactions mostly with females when it came to that. So it made me self-conscious being around groups of females, because I felt like if I said something, they weren't going to like what I said. And I started getting self-conscious. So then I would, I wouldn't stay in a group for too long, because then but that was my problem. That was me being self-conscious about not only my spiritual side, but also me being self-conscious about being, in my feminine power and my feminine energy and not feeling accepted. But that's all me and my work. And then there's also the fact of, the fear of if I seem like I know too much, how am I supposed to have a good teacher, a good mentor, because they're going to think I'm a know-it-all, or the worry and the fear of, they might not have much to teach me. I might need a new one, but I really like this one, and I don't want them to feel like there's nothing to teach me, because there's a lot of stuff I could learn from them. And those were the types of self-conscious, spiritually self-conscious things that I had going through my head. The other side of it is there's things that I didn't know, but didn't want to seem like a super noob, and that was my ego during that time. And that was a part of me that, I guess I can say pride, that I felt like I didn't want, but you miss out so much when you do that, because when you're, here's an example. Like, let's say somebody walks into a metaphysical shop and then they pick up a singing bowl. And they're like, oh man, I love these so much. Yeah, and like their friend's like, oh, that's cool. And they're like, yeah, I got one of these at home. And the friend's like, oh, really? I haven't seen it yet. They're like, yeah, I just got it. And then the person takes the striker and they put it on the inside of the bowl and they're trying to do it. And you're looking at them and you're thinking, that's not how you play a singing bowl. Maybe they have a different way. I don't know, but it's not working. And then you go, oh, how long ago did you get your singing bowl? And they're like, oh, like last week or something. Yeah, yeah. You're like, oh, okay, well, look, can I show you how to play it? Oh, I know how to play it. Well, let me show you. And they're like, oh, I know. And then you take it and you ding it and you go around the outside and it makes a really beautiful sound. And then the person's like, oh, I don't ever play it like that. I just tap it. I just tap it, which is true. And having no judgment, you think, well, that's just kind of how they play it. But to really get the fullness out of the singing bowl, and to get the resonance and to get the full effect of that bowl, playing it on the outside, not just tapping it, is like, so, but for them to go, oh yeah, and then just disacknowledge it, they're doing themselves a disservice from learning something that's pretty frickin' spectacular, but it's also not sucking down their pride enough to actually be open to learn, but that's their work. And you can't judge them on that because everybody's in a different place. But that's a good example. This is just a hypothetical, but that's a good example of being spiritually self-conscious, because they didn't want to seem walking into a shop, there's a person sitting there, you automatically assume they're like a master of everything. So you already have that in your head. And then you're with your friend and maybe they're not really into stuff, or they're just getting into stuff, or you're just getting, whatever the case may be. You don't want to seem like a noob. So yeah, like if you're in the presence of a teacher or a mentor and you don't want to seem like a rookie, but at the same time, you're doing yourself and them a disservice because they need to know where to gauge where you're at in order to help you grow. I'm going to say that again. They need to know where you're at in truth, so they can help you grow. It has nothing to do with them being superior to you, and it has nothing to do with them, spiritually flexing on you. It is sincerely is for them to gauge, okay, they're obviously beyond this, they're probably more advanced, or maybe they're more in the beginner, or maybe they're just like, I'm not sure where they are, but they know this, this, and this, so that gives them an idea of what to show you, or what to discuss with you, or what to share with you, or sometimes even what to learn from you. Just because you have a mentor or teacher doesn't mean that there's something that they can't learn, because it's an exchange. And we forget that sometimes, that it's an exchange. So don't hold back. Don't be spiritually self-conscious, guys. Don't do it. But it's true. And we do this in life with our humanness or with our pride. And we hold ourselves back, whether it's to fill ourselves with knowledge or to give out the knowledge. We hold back. And some people are like, I used to be self-conscious of being a know-it-all, and sometimes I would mix stuff up, and then somebody would be like, no, that's not right, and then I'm like, no, it's this. So like, I know it is in my mind, I see it, the picture, but the label I'm giving it isn't correct, but I know the picture's right. And then the person would be like, no, and then they show me a picture of it. I'm like, that's what I meant. I knew that. But it wasn't me trying to one up or to be a know-it-all. It was a misunderstanding. So that happens too. And that's okay. Like, take your lumps, man. It's all good. We're not perfect. And or having being a person that's, Encyclopedia Brown. Some people will be like, oh, here she goes again, ask Lana, she knows everything. And it's like, no, I don't. Because I forget stuff. Stuff comes in and out of here like Grand Central Station sometimes. So just be good to yourself and do share the knowledge and be open to learning, because you'll really find a much more magical world in everything you do, no matter what your belief system is and what you're aligned with. You'll have a much better experience for being more spiritually self-confident. So what I say in every video, and I mean it, whether it's the mental, the physical, the emotional, or the spiritual, wellness, wholeness always starts at the root. Take care, guys. Till the next video.